I simulated 10 years of F1 2021 My Team career mode, and let's just say this was not what I was expecting. Hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever video on this channel. My name is Chris, and I love Formula 1, and I am an extremely biased Ferrari fan. For a couple weeks, I've been seeing on my YouTube recommended page a few other creators simulate F1 2021's My Team career mode, so that gave me the inspiration and the idea to make this video today. I did have plans to make this video a little bit earlier, but then I heard that the performance patch was coming out, so I really wanted to wait for that to actually start the simulation, so I waited for that, and now I have the video for you all. I strongly encourage you all to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you love Formula 1 or Ferrari as much as I do. And with that being said, everybody, let's get right into the simulation. In 2021, Valtteri Bottas claimed his first ever World Drivers' Championship. Not very realistic, but hey, congratulations Valtteri Bottas, we are very proud of you. Bottas had 11 wins, Lewis Hamilton finished in P2 with 8 wins, and Max Verstappen finished P3 with 3 wins. In your Constructors' Championship order, Mercedes wins there, I believe, was that 8th straight World Championship, which is nuts. Red Bull finishes P2, McLaren P3, Ferrari P4, AlphaTauri P5, Alpine P6, Aston Martin P7, Alfa Romeo P8, Williams P9, and Haas in P10. Quick fun fact here, Pierre Gasly absolutely carried the heck out of AlphaTauri to finish ahead of Alpine and Aston Martin. And for your driver transfers at the end of the season, on my team, which is not in this Constructors' Championship order because it's only supposed to be the 10. I had Sato on my team, but then he decided to not re-sign mid-season, so I had to replace him with Sean Glale, and then Sato actually went to Williams to replace George Russell. Fernando Alonso retired, and that means there is a seat open in Alpine, and to take that Alpine seat is Kimi Räikkönen. No, he is not retired yet, which is amazing. That means there is an open seat at Alfa Romeo, and that means George Russell takes the Alfa Romeo seat. In 2022, Valtteri Bottas becomes a 2-time world champion with 12 wins on the year. Lewis Hamilton had 7 wins, and in P3, Lando Norris had 2 wins. The Constructors' Championship had a big shuffle. Mercedes wins their 9th consecutive Constructors' Championship. McLaren moves up a spot to finish P2. Red Bull goes down a spot, finishing P3. Ferrari stays consistent in P4. Alpine, with Kimi Räikkönen on their team, actually moves up a spot to P5. AlphaTauri drops a spot to P6. Aston Martin stays the same. Williams moves ahead of Alfa Romeo in P7. Alfa Romeo, as I just said, dropped a spot to finish P8. And Haas, once again, finishes in dead last. Some more crazy driver transfers happen in the year. Sebastian Vettel retires from Formula 1. There goes the four-time Formula 1 world champion. He's going to be missed. That means there is an open seat at Aston Martin, and that means it is a double Canadian lineup at Aston Martin with Lance Stroll partnered by Nicholas Latifi. Now that Nicholas Latifi has left Williams, there is an open spot at Williams, and now we have Sean Glale moving to Williams. That is something I thought I was never going to say in my entire life. Sean Glale did leave my team, so then I signed Roy Nissany for the rest of the career mode. In 2023, your first ever world champion is Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen wins 13 races in 2023 and absolutely dominates the competition. Valtteri Bottas finished P2 with 2 wins. Pierre Gasly finished P3 with 3 wins. Sergio Perez finishes P4 with 1 win. And Lewis Hamilton finishes P5 with 1 win. It really looks like Lewis Hamilton is falling off right now. And the Constructors' Championship had a major shakeup with Red Bull moving up 2 spots to win their first Constructors' Championship since 2013. Mercedes, for the first time since 2014, doesn't win a Constructors' Championship. They fall down to P2. Ferrari move up a spot to P3. AlphaTauri move up 2 spots to P4. McLaren drop 3 places to P5. Not very good regulation change for them. Alpine move down 1 spot to P6. Alfa Romeo move up 2 to P7. Aston Martin and Williams drop down 1 to P8 and P9. And once again, Haas finish in P10. Looking over to the driver transfers, we have Mick Schumacher to Williams, which was absolutely crazy. Sean Glale leaves F1. F in the chat, he's going to be missed. Guan Yu Zhou also moves to Williams, and Christian Lundgaard moves to Haas to replace Mick Schumacher. And just a quick fact, George Russell also carries Alfa Romeo ahead of Aston Martin in the standings, which is pretty sad for Aston Martin. I guess the all-Canadian pay lineup of Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi couldn't help them. In 2024, we have back-to-back world championships for Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen once again wins 13 races and absolutely dominates the competition. Pierre Gasly wins 3 more races, which is absolutely insane. He's been crazy in this career mode. Charles Leclerc finally wins a couple races in this career mode. You know, he's my favorite driver. He wins 2 races in 2024. Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, and Yuki Tsunoda also win a race, and this is Sainz and Tsunoda's first ever win in Formula 1, so huge congratulations to them. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull win their second straight Constructors' Championship. AlphaTauri moves up 2 Constructors' Championship points and finish second in the standings order. So it looks like an absolute Red Bull domination right now in Formula 1 with Red Bull first, AlphaTauri in second. They're on a whole different league. Ferrari is in P3. McLaren move up a spot to P4, and Mercedes drop down 3 spots to finish P5 in the Constructors' Championship. Not good for their standards. Alfa Romeo move up 1 spot to P6, Alpine move down 1 spot to P7, and Aston Martin, Williams, and Haas finish out the grid in P8, P9, and P10. In the driver transfer market, Daniel Ricciardo decides to retire from Formula 1. This leaves an open spot at Formula 1, and of course, the only logical explanation is Kimi Räikkönen moving to McLaren in the middle of the prime of his career. There is also a seat open at Alpine because Kimi Räikkönen left Alpine, and to take that spot is George Russell finally moving up in the grid. That means there is an open spot in Alfa Romeo, and Mick Schumacher moves Alfa Romeo, and then there's an open spot at Williams, so that means Sato goes back to Formula 1 and joins Williams. There is also going to be a regulation change at the end of the season, so maybe this can shake up the grid in Formula 1. In 2025, we have a new 3-time world champion. Max Verstappen once again absolutely dominates Formula 1, taking 14 race wins out of the 21. In P2, we actually have Charles Leclerc with 3 wins. Good to see Ferrari back up there. P3, we have Pierre Gasly with 2 wins, and P4, we have Lando Norris with 2 wins. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull win their 3rd consecutive championship. AlphaTauri finish in P2. Once again, the Red Bull dominance is absolutely insane. P3, we have Ferrari. P4, McLaren. P5, Mercedes. Nothing changed here. Moving up 1 spot, we have Alpine and Aston Martin into P6 and P7. Dropping down 2 spots is Alfa Romeo and P8. Not a good season for them. And rounding out the top 10, we have P9 and P10. Once again, Williams. And last is Haas again for the 5th consecutive season. In the driver transfer market, we have Valtteri Bottas retiring from Formula 1. That leaves a coveted Mercedes seat open, and who would have thought Lando Norris is going to go to Mercedes to replace Valtteri Bottas. That means there is an open spot at McLaren, and to take that spot at McLaren, you'd think it would be George Russell. No, it is Lance Stroll moving away from Aston Martin, going all the way to McLaren, and that means there is an open seat at Aston Martin, and who else but Sean Gelael to go to Aston Martin to replace the Lance Stroll. We got pay driver for pay driver. How insane. Here is a quick fun fact over here. In 2025, Lando Norris scored all of McLaren's 239 points. So that means Kimi Räikkönen scored 0. We're going to have a driver lineup of Lance Stroll and Kimi Räikkönen in 2026. That's going to be quite fun. In 2026, Max Verstappen ties Sebastian Vettel with 4 world championships. Congratulations, Max Verstappen, on being the 2026 world champion. Max Verstappen also once again dominated with 14 wins once again. He's just kind of unstoppable right now. Like, this type of dominance we didn't even see from Lewis Hamilton. Like, Lewis would get max 11 wins. Verstappen's getting like 13, 14 wins this season, which is absolutely insane. Like, that Red Bull car is insane. It's kind of crazy. Lando Norris finishes P2 with 5 wins, absolutely carrying Mercedes, and Pierre Gasly finishes P3 with 2 wins. In the Constructors' Championship, we have a 4th consecutive win for Red Bull, which is very nice. AlphaTauri once again stays in P2. Mercedes move up 2 spots to finish P3. Ferrari and McLaren both move down a spot to finish P4 and P5. Alpine remains the same in P6. Alfa Romeo moves up the spot to finish P7, so that means Aston Martin dropped down a spot to finish P8. And rounding out the top 10, we have Williams in P9 and Haas in P10. And looking at the driver transfer market today, we have Mick Schumacher retiring from Formula 1, which is very shocking considering Kimi Räikkönen is still in Formula 1, but that leaves an open-seated Alfa Romeo, and that means Guan Yu Zhou takes the Alfa Romeo seat, which leaves an open spot at Williams, and that means Kimi Räikkönen has gone to Williams. Kind of crazy that he's not retired yet. Now there is an open seat at McLaren because Kimi Räikkönen left McLaren, and George Russell finally gets a call up to a decent team. He moves to McLaren. That means there is an open spot at Alpine, and that spot is taken up by Dan Ticktum. Welcome to Formula 1, Dan. Didn't think you'd ever get here. In 2027, Max Verstappen becomes a 5-time world champion. Absolutely insane. This season was a lot more competitive though. Max Verstappen only won 9 races. Lando Norris finishes in P2 to win 5. Pierre Gasly finishes in 3rd, winning 4. Leclerc, Stroll, Sainz all win 1 race. And actually, this is Lance Stroll's first ever win in Formula 1. Very proud of you, Lance Stroll. Way to be good, I guess. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull once again dominate, winning their 5th Constructors' Championship. AlphaTauri finished P2, McLaren finished P3, Ferrari P4, Mercedes dropped down to finishing P5. Very bad season for Lewis Hamilton. In P6, we have Alpine, and P7, Alfa Romeo, P8, Aston Martin, P9, Williams, and P10, we got Haas. I'm serious, those two, Williams and Haas, have not changed since the beginning of this career mode. In a shock move, Lewis Hamilton decides to leave Formula 1 and take a small sabbatical. That means there is an open seat at Mercedes, and who else to partner Lando Norris than his best friend, Max Verstappen, going to Mercedes. That Mercedes lineup is gonna be insane next season. We have Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, the 2 best drivers on the grid right now. Antonio Giovinazzi goes to Alpine. Kimi Räikkönen goes back to Alfa Romeo. He is still not retired yet, which is kind of crazy. Dan Ticktum takes an open seat at Williams, and to replace Max Verstappen, we have Callum Ilott finally getting his shot at Formula 1. You absolutely love to see it. In 2028, we finally have a new world champion, and for the first time in his career, Lando Norris becomes a world champion in Formula 1 with an absolute ding-dong battle with Max Verstappen for the title. Lando Norris ends up the season with 6 wins in P1. Max Verstappen in P2 has 5 wins. Charles Leclerc had a great season, finishing P3 with 3 wins. Pierre Gasly finishes P4 with 3. Yuki Tsunoda actually takes 2 wins. Great season for him. Sergio Perez ends up with 1 win. And for the first time in his career, George Russell ends up taking 1 win. Very nice for him. And now back to the top of Formula 1, we have Mercedes winning their 3rd Constructors title, moving up 4 spots. I guess having a team of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris is quite overpowered. Finishing in P2 in the Constructors standings, we have Scuderia AlphaTauri finishing P2. Ferrari moves up a spot to finish P3. Red Bull, for the first time, finally dropped down to P4, moving down 3 spots. Really fall from grace for them, I guess. Callum Ilott couldn't do much with Sergio Perez as a teammate. Dropping also down 2 spots, we have McLaren, and then in P6 we got Alpine, P7 Alfa Romeo, P8 Aston Martin, P9 Williams, and once again P10 we have Haas. Nothing really changes over there. We actually did have a mid-season driver transfer this season. Lewis Hamilton replaces Callum Ilott mid-season. I guess Callum Ilott didn't do well. Yuki Tsunoda had a shock retirement in Formula 1 after winning 2 races, his best season ever. Still once again retires before Kimi Räikkönen. Latifi moves over to AlphaTauri. That's kind of crazy to replace Yuki Tsunoda. Dan Ticktum goes to Aston Martin. Good for him. He deserves a good seat. Callum Ilott also goes to Aston Martin, so I guess Aston Martin is just refreshing their whole team over there. And once again, Sean Galeo leaves Aston Martin and goes to Williams. Sean Galeo still in Formula 1. You absolutely love to see it. We're going to move over to 2029 now. And in 2029, we have a 6-time world champion. Max Verstappen ends up taking his 6th world championship. He beats Lando Norris this season, end up taking 6 wins to finish P1. Lando Norris also takes 6 wins, but ends up finishing P2. Sergio Perez had a very good season, finishing in P3 with 4 wins. Antonio Giovinazzi finishing P5 with 1 win, getting his first win ever in Formula 1. Very nice to see that. And Carlos Sainz also takes another win for Ferrari. Mercedes once again dominate Formula 1, taking another Constructors Championship. AlphaTauri once again consistently finishing in P2. They've just been absolutely amazing. Ferrari finishing P3, Red Bull P4, McLaren P5, Alpine P6. Finally, we have a move in the bottom of the midfield. We have Aston Martin actually moving up a spot over Alfa Romeo to finish P7. P8 is Alfa Romeo, like I just said. P9 is Williams, and Haas is P10. For the first time in this simulation, there are no driver transfers, so that's kind of a shock, but there is a major regulation change to the aerodynamics, power unit, and chassis department, so this could shake up a lot going into 2030. And for the first time since 2007, Ferrari have a World Drivers' Champion. Charles Leclerc finally gets a good car and just absolutely dominates the field. Ends up getting 16 wins. That is the most we've had all simulation. That's my guy, completely biased Ferrari fan here. But Charles Leclerc, you are a gift from the heavens. In P2, we have Lando Norris with 4 wins and Carlos Sainz with 1. Charles, I don't know how you did that, man. I really wish there was more simulations because Ferrari, that car was absolutely insane. But guys, that was insane. Ferrari ends up also winning the Constructors' Championship for the first time since 2008. What an absolute machine of a season. Mercedes end up finishing P2. Alpine finally actually do something in this career mode, move up 3 spots. Good for them. They really nailed the regulation change. They finished P3. Red Bull finished P4. AlphaTauri really didn't nail these regulation change. They finished P5. McLaren didn't nail these. They finished P6. Once again, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, Williams, and Haas are in the bottom of the grid, not really doing anything. This is the end of the simulation. There's no changes, no regulations or anything like that. But we're going to move on to the best drivers and constructors of the decade. So in P5, the 5th best driver of the decade, we have Pierre Gasly with 20 wins in 10 years. Very good career on his end, which is absolutely insane to see. In P4, we have Charles Leclerc with 25 wins, absolutely getting carried by his 2030 season with 16 of those, but good for him. 1 World Drivers' Championship. In P3, we have Lando Norris with 30 wins and 1 Drivers' Championship. Very good career for him. In P2, we have Valtteri Bottas, who retired quite early in the career in this simulation, but he did have 23 wins and 2 World Drivers' Championships, so that really bumps him up right there. And it's no surprise the most decorated driver of this decade was Max Verstappen with 77 wins and 6 World Drivers' Championships. Absolutely insane. The guy is a machine. In the Constructors' Championship, Haas finished last. They didn't do anything. Williams also did nothing. Alfa Romeo, they were alright. Some seasons didn't really do much. P7, we have Aston Martin. Yeah, P6 Alpine, P5 Alfa, and P5 we have McLaren, who were decent but not as good as I've seen in other simulations. P4, big surprise, AlphaTauri performed very well. P3, I only put Ferrari ahead of AlphaTauri because they did end up winning a Constructors' Championship, but AlphaTauri was much more consistent all career mode. P2, we have Mercedes with 4 Constructors' Championships. They were once again a force in Formula 1, no surprise. And in P1, with 5 World Drivers' Championships, all coming off the hands of Max Verstappen, we have Red Bull. There is one fact that I'm sure you guys noticed, and I'm pretty sure everybody noticed this entire simulation. Kimi Räikkönen never retired Formula 1. He's still driving around. You know, it is his hobby. I guess he loves driving around Formula 1 in a donkey Williams or whatever he's in at the age of 51. It's his hobby, guys. I guess you can't take the man out of what he loves to do. I don't think he scored a point in this decade, but you know what? He did well. So guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more simulations just like this one, please let me know. It takes a while to make these, so I appreciate it if you guys can show some support and stuff. That'd be cool. With all that being said, everybody, hope you all enjoyed and have a good day.